Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got kind of a special thing for you. We're in Oregon at the Oregon Raceway Park for the Grass Valley Grand Prix. So this is our first heat of the day, and I'm just going to kind of talk over what's happening here. We're getting the green flag after we had a false start. We had initially it started the race and we're called back in, and they had the pace car come back out again. One of our cars had broken down. So you see 4 cars in the front of the group here, and there's one directly behind me. That would be Dan Stetler in the Panhard. So in this race right now, we've got Dean in the Otis, Justin in the GN, my son Steven in the Model T, and I'm driving the Duesenberg, and Dan Stetler in the Panhard. The Alstor Daimler Sasha has already retired with a broken chain, and the Peugeot Quadroulette didn't start. So this track is super fun. Coming up on a big turn here. This is turn number 12 and 13, called the Big Dipper. This is a really tight turn. It's about a little more than 90, so you got to take this pretty slow. And then we're coming into the North Straight. So we're running this thing counterclockwise or backwards compared to what you would normally do. So the numbers, turn 1 is the last turn basically. So this next turn coming up is a big drop. Really hard to see. You can see the turn marker as you come up to this corner, but you cannot see the turn until you start turning. You start turning here, and all of a sudden now you can see where you're supposed to be. So it's a tricky little course, and you pick up a lot of speed right through here. And this is taking you into the half pipe area, which is really fun. This is like a skateboarder's dream. Look at this elevation change and this bank turn. This part is super fun. Our cars are pulling pretty good through here. Probably slowing down a little bit as we crest over these hills. It's a very hilly track. This big radius turn, this just keeps turning and turning and turning and turning. So you really have a lot of fun on this. And you come over this crest, there's a turn marker there saying, hey, there's a turn, and yeah, you better start turning, because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up in the wrong part of the track. There's another little crest here, and it's a little bit of a bumpy bit, and we're dropping into the Valkyrie Hill area. There's a big drop at the end of this little part here, and immediately you're making another turn. This is turn 5 coming up. This one is really tricky. I slowed down probably more than I needed to because it scared me. This thing's a lot more elevation change than what you look like here, but this is a really fast sweeping turn, and pretty much immediately following it, there's a really tough left-hander that they're calling the pucker factor. This turn is pretty tricky to get right, so invariably you see how much the guys in front of me slowed down. I almost caught everybody right there in a pretty big separation. And now we're turning onto what's called the West Straightaway. This is a nice long straight. Again, there's a crest in the middle of this. You don't realize how much elevation change there really is on these straightaways, but there's quite a lot. And we're only doing 45 miles an hour or so, and then we're passing Justin on both sides. I don't know if I surprised him over there or not, but we're going to go through this next turn 2 wide pretty much as we catch up with Dean here in the Otis. So this is just the first lap. So we've already done a couple laps before this with the pace lap, and then we had 1 lap under green, and then we quickly turned to yellow, and then another pace lap. So this is like really our 4th lap, but this is the first lap of real racing where we're getting a full lap in. Coming up on the main straight now, coming down to the start-finish line. This is where you would pull out if you had a problem into the hot pits, and the flagging tower is right there on the right as you come across the start-finish line. So you can see how fast we're going there. We had some video from the sidelines that helps. Coming into turn number 16, this is a little bit of a tricky one because again, you can't see where you're going. And we're coming down into what's called the bend, and at the bottom of the bend is the Big Dipper. And this is a big drop. As you come across here, you see some braking markers there on the right, and you really do. I was slowing down probably more than I needed to, because this thing is really, I think they're calling it off camber. You're kind of tilting to the right. The road tilts to the right, so it kind of wants to throw you off. It feels like you're going to tip over as you come down that. So you're turning and at a strange angle kind of all at the same time. It makes it really exciting. Again, this is that tight radius turn 12 and 13, and this little bit of a straight here. So I'm setting up Dean here, trying to get up behind him as close as I can to try to find a way to get around him. So this is only our 2nd lap. It feels like we've been racing longer than that, but because we've already, like I said, we were out there for almost 3 laps prior to actually getting to race. So this is that other tricky little turn, and this big radius coming up. This is a super exciting track. This is the first time cycle cars have been on this track, and man, we just had a blast out here. We'll be doing it again, I hope. It's a long drive for us in Arizona, but the guys in that local area, this is a super nice track for them to have close by. So this cart that I'm chasing here, the Otis, is a super lightweight cart. Chuck Crater built this. It's just incredible how much technology and innovation he put into building this thing. If you get to see it up close, I recommend taking a close look at it, because it's not a standard cycle cart. It's pretty amazing. It's on a different level. But this 224 I've got in the Duesenberg is powering past him. He's got a really advantage in weight. His cart's much lighter. I think it's around 200 or 220 pounds. Mine's more like 260 or 270. And so we're speeding up the video a little bit here because I'm all alone out there on the track. Nothing in front of me, so it's a little bit of a boring bit. But as we come around the start-finish line here in a moment or two, this will be starting our third and final lap. See the guys, I got a little bit of separation on it now. We tried to download this with GPS, but the GPS, I couldn't get it downloaded with the speedometer, but I was able to see the speedometer. So the fastest this cart went was right around the start-finish line at 51 miles an hour, which is pretty fast. I think my previous GX 200 was topping out at 45 or 46, so the 224 is good for another 6 or 7 miles an hour with everything else being the same. So this half pipe is really throwing a little bit there. Oh, we went past it pretty quick. These elevation changes really make this interesting. So it's a little scary in a cycle car because you're a little top heavy, but it's absolutely worth doing. So as we're coming in again to the end of the track, I'm glancing over my shoulder here and there to see where the other guys are at, because I think I'm all by myself, but I do see them kind of far back there, so I think I've got plenty of space. So I start slowing down a little bit. The checker flag is being waved right now in the distance, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to win. And oh, there's the checker flag. Isn't that great? I'm going to win the race. It's fantastic. Oh, wait a minute. Those other guys didn't stop racing. So that's my lesson learned. My son never stopped racing. He got past Dean and was able to pass me right before the start-finish line. So it was a super fun little heat race. We didn't get a whole lot of video of other on-track times, but this was a lot of fun. So we're trying to get a little video of all the group here, and Dan is somewhere behind us. But a lot of fun racing with these guys. And thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you on the next one.